So we will talk about Oracle Golden Gate manager process. So what is the manager process in Oracle Golden Gate? So a background process that control a startup, monitoring, port assignment and resource management for other Golden Gate process called as a manager process. So next question is, what is the manager process mandatory? Yes, it is required for starting and managing extract, replicate and pump processes. How do you start the manager process? This is a good question. You go with the prompt and write down the command start manager. The manager will be start. So how do you stop the manager? Simply go stop and manager. So where you can find the manager process ID? This is a good question. So use the ps- or the info manager. Will give the all details. But if in microservices, use the admin UI and the APS, you will get the information about the manager process ID. So the next question is, how do you check the manager is running? Obviously, info manager will give all the information about the manager. What file contains the manager configuration? So mgr.prm parameter file stored the dir.prm directory. Give these configuration items. Where are manager log files written? gg error log, global error log and the optionally mgr.rpt in the dirpt directory. So next question is, what is the default port for the manager process? 7809 that you all knows. Can you change the management port? Yes, by setting a port number in the mgr.prm. So we'll go in the next slide. Okay, what happens if the manager is down? No extract or no replicate or other GG process can start it, restart it or monitor, because it's a mandatory background process and it is all because if the manager is not available, no resource will work. Like an example, same here. If the manager process will not run, no one will work. Okay, so we'll go with the next question. How do you set the port for the manager? Okay, port number inside the manager.prm. How to configure automatic restart of extract or replicate? So use the auto restart extract replicate name retries count, wait minutes and the minutes name. So in the background you can go there and we can set up this entire things. So how do you limit the number of log files for the manager? Use the purge old extract or large ports minutes. It will give these log file manager numbers. We can set the limits over there. How do you configure the manager to purge old extracts? Yes, we can purge old extract, dirpm lt, use checkpoint, max days is 3, 4, 5, 7, whatever in our understanding, we can give this that days. So we'll go with the next slide. How do you restrict the IP access to the manager port? Use OS level firewall or TCP wrappers. Manager itself doesn't restrict IPs, so we have to use the firewall, OS level firewall we can say, and the TCP wrappers for to restrict the access manager port. Where do you set the manager parameters? In dir.prm manager PRM file, we can set the manager parameter file. Can you have a multiple manager processes? No, only one manager per Golden Gate installation. You can have a multiple manager process on the same server, but you do have a multiple installation for that. I think you guys are understanding these questions and answers. I believe so. So the next question, Can you restart manager automatically after a reboot? Yes, via or services or a script system like an the cron tab, system add init.d, or if you're in a Windows, you will go with the services and you can automatic start. Can you change the manager port while running? No, must stop the manager, change the port in the MGR PRM, then start it again. So how you redirect manager logs to a custom directory? Modify GG, home, or redirect the logs using symbolic link or parameters in the manager PRM. What is the command to get the manager's status? So info manager will give them all information about the manager status. How to check manager port usage? Like use the nestat -an. This all are in the uppercase, but you have to read it in on the command label. Okay, use the inistat -an grep port or info manager in ggSCL. So which file shows the manager process startup time? Which process shows the manager's process startup time? Obviously gg error log. If you know the SQL server, there you can able to see like, okay, temp DB creation is the startup time. Here we can go gg error log. How do you trace manager process activity? Enable a trace in mgr.prm, then you can able to see the all the process manager activity at a trace level. What is the manager PID stored? OS process list or using the ps-ef grep mgr will give the PID of this at the OS level, like on the Unix platform or Unix, Linux, Solaris, whatever you are using, IBM X, anything. How do you view the error related to manager? So check the gg error log in the Golden Gate base directory. Can manager restart crash process? Yes, if it is auto start is configured. What does info manager task show? So the answer is list of the automatic tasks configured under manager. How do you find which port manager is using? Info manager will give the idea about which port is using. So next question is, can you monitor manager from interface manual? Obviously yes, using the Oracle Golden Gate Plus is in from OEM. What does manager what does manager manage? Start, stop, monitor and restart or extract, replicate, pump, collect, everything that is managed by the manager process. Does manager store the process metadata? No, metadata is stored in the trail and the checkpoint files. Manager is a control logic only. Like here in HR, keep this information like where he's coming, where he's going, what is his joining date and what are his last working days. HR formality done by the HR. Here the metadata stored in the trail and checkpoint files. Manager is a control only on the employee. I believe I given a good example of it. So what is the manager role with the data pump? Language and monitor the pump process. Language and monitor. What is manager with the data pump? Launches and monitor the pump process. How configure manager to retrieve failed processes? Use the auto start in the MGR parameter. That's it. The next question is, can manager run without parameter file? No. Though default and use the MGR PRM is missing, not recommended. Can you use control manager remotely? Yes, via admin client or microservices or secure SSH plus DGSCM. Can the manager process purge old reports? Yes, it is a work of that via the purge minutes or the purge extracts. What happens if a port conflict occurs? Manager will fail to start and GG error log will show a bind error. The next question, can manager start automatically after a reboot? Yes, using boot script or system services. We already verified it, correct? What is the impact of stopping manager? Active process continue, but you cannot start, monitor, or stop them. Stopping manager. Active processes continue, but you cannot start, monitor, and stop them. What is the good practice for manager port? Use the non-default port, example 710, to avoid configuration and improve security. Should you enable the auto start for all processes? Yes, especially in a critical systems to recover from a failure. Is it a safe to stop manager during the replication? Yes, but new processes can't be started and automatic restart won't work. How do you schedule periodic purging of trail files? You need to configure the job. Use purge extracts with the checkpoints. Can manager manage process across the multiple installation? No, it only manages process within its own installation path. Correct? So how do you secure manager port? Use the OS level firewall and the Microsoft use the HTTP with the certificates. Can you cluster manager for HA? No directly, but Golden Gate can run on a rack grid infrastructure for HA. Can you cluster can cluster manager for HA? Not directly, but Golden Gate can run on a